All right, my man. State your name. Let them know you on Nicovelli TV.
Santos Negron, coach of Puerto Rico Pro Legends from El Barrio, Spanish Harlem, New York.
All right, and you on Nicovelli TV.
And I'm on Nicovelli TV.
That's what's up, man. I like the shirt, brother.
Appreciate that.
All right. Are you looking forward to this coming season under the New York Knicks?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see if their defense stay in the intensity they did last year, which surprised everybody, and it went throughout the whole playoffs. And I think they got some fireworks that they needed, some outside shooting that was required instead of just depending on Burke alone to be hot, because some of the other starters are not shooters, they're scorers. And there's a difference between that.
Elaborate. Who on the Knicks do you think is a scorer?
Barrett is a scorer. He's not a jump shooter. He's a scorer. He knows how to drive. He knows how to. He got a high IQ for the game where he knows how to go into the inside and score easier than going outside shooting perimeter. He will get his periodic flashy 3 or 4 jumpers straight in a row, but it's not consistent every night. And you need a consistent, like 60% outside shooter. Outside is the threat that can open up the middle a little bit more for everybody.
Now, do you think having a vet like Kemba Walker will help elevate R.J. Barrett's game, where he could become the shooter you need him to be?
I think they complement each other, because Chamberlain's from New York. New York breeds point guard, natural point guards who know how the game is played. I think he's going to elevate everybody's game there. What he has to do is find his niche, and so he can do what he needs to do at the time it needs to be done. I don't think that him being an addition, even starting, is going to do anything but enhance their ability to win more games. The only thing I say, like again, is the intensity of the defense, especially coming off the bench and some of the players they got and some that they lost. But at the end of the day, I think their coach knows how to mold them, and they signed Derek, and Derek's the pure leader. And then with Walker, I see no wrong. I see no wrong.
I don't see no wrong with Walker.
I'm intrigued to see how it develops, the chemistry and the style of play they're going to create this year.
Now, what do you say to those that say that Kemba Walker is not going to fit into Tom Thibodeau's defensive unit and that he's an injury-prone player?
Well, what I say is that being from New York and raising up with New York guards, and him coming from New York, going to Rice High School, he can't do anything but gel, because he grew up in New York, and New York is about being a warrior mentality when you're playing ball. It's not about being nice. It's about being hard and not giving up and playing on until the last second of the game. And that's what makes New York guards exceptional, because that's their mantra. When they come out, and you can name all the guards that came out of New York, and they all have one thing in common. And that's the warrior mentality.
Right. Now, the warrior mentality. I like that. What do we do when we speak about players like Obi Toppins, right? Because Julius Randle got signed. His extension contract was signed. Does this mean more playing time for Obi? Less playing time? Will Obi be happy with the minutes he's going to receive?
No, I think he's going to get his minutes. I think 1 year under the belt is going to help him a lot to gain confidence. I think what he has to learn is the system that the coach wants, and pick his spots to do what he needs to do. He has natural talent. He can jump, he can score. He just got to find that niche within the game flow, and I don't see that being a problem. He's a Jersey boy. He's going to do all right. You know what I mean? I think anybody from the tri-state, in my opinion, have a...
I thought Obi was from Brooklyn. That's what I was told.
But yeah, he could have been born in Brooklyn, but I think that his parents, and I'm not 100%, don't bet me on this.
Right.
I think his parents relocated to Jersey as he got older, for the fear of the streets, of the elements of the streets sometimes, especially when you're a star, you start becoming a star, everybody wants to be around you, especially at high school days, and that's what a lot of people here don't understand about New York, we gravitate to our players, to our heroes, but at some time we got to allow them to grow and mature, and not always be critical about them, especially when they're learning the game,
Okay. And Emmanuel quickly, do you think his game going to elevate this season versus what we've seen from him last season? We've seen a glimpse of Emmanuel quickly, who was in the backcourt with Derrick Rose.
I think Emmanuel was a surprise to everybody, and I think he can only get better. I think once you have a year under the belt, and it all depends on the size of his head. Does he take all this and say, no, I still want to be the best I could be, and I still got to work hard at it? And I think he has that mentality where I can only see a big upside on him. But I mean, when you're in New York, you got a lot of glamour, you got a lot of people notoriety coming in, and the whole key for me is that he's got to stay ground level and hungry. Because he got the war mentality, you see it, you know?
Okay. And what it means when we speak of players like Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina.
I don't think Frank got a fair shake, but I also didn't think that he was a number 1 round pick, draft pick. I think he should have been a number 2 or 3. The pressure wouldn't have been on him so much to produce as quick as they wanted him. When he comes from overseas and trying to be a point guard in New York, you know, like New York is rare. You know, New York knows the game. Everybody knows the game. Everybody has their own perception of how the game is played, but everybody understands the game and the IQ of the game. So the pressure was on him from the beginning, and he had a lot to learn. He was still young. He was still a young buck. You know, he wasn't a stallion yet. You know, so you know, when I mean that by that, he's still learning the game. And then he coming to the United States, learning the NBA style of game, and then coming to the number 1 market media, New York. It's a lot of pressure on a kid like that, man.
Okay.
I don't think he had a good mentor, in sense of one of the guards grabbing him and putting him under the table, with him. I just don't think that. I think he's going to show it, but again, I don't think he should have been number 1 round pick.
Okay. Now, when we speak of the new signings under the New York Knicks, got McBride, got Grimes. Are you excited with these 2 pickups?
I think it makes them offensive. Remember, they were looking for offense. Grimes is a hard 2-way ball player, but I think they improved. But I said the question mark for me now is the level of intensity of defense throughout the whole season. Would it be the same as the team they had last year, who was all hungry to play and they brought into the system, and there was no ego. It was all about winning, and that's the main thing. You know, you gotta win in New York.
You gotta win in New York.
You gotta win in New York, man.
Okay. And how far do you see these Knicks going?
Further than they went.
Last season?
Yeah.
Now, this is the big question I want to ask. The Knicks made it to the playoffs with 1 win, 1 postseason win. Do you think that was a fluke? In other words, you think it was a political move that's for the Knicks to have 1 playoff win, or do you think they choked?
No, I think when I think when the playoff comes, it's a different style, it's a different season. And for a lot of these young guys, it was their first time they saw the intensity, the game, the fast breaks are a little faster, the defense a little hard on you on a playoff. Everybody's playing intense. Everything is magnified in a playoff. I don't think they understood that level. They try their best, but you know, they're also human, man. You know, and I think the nerves got to them to a point when they had to take key jump shots. You know, it was the whole thing. Even Randall. I mean, look at Randall. I mean, you know, with him, it was he was all MVP throughout the whole season, but in the playoff, he was mediocre for me. When you wanted him to come through on a consistent basis, it was a learning curve. I think he's going to be much better this year, but I don't think they're going to, now with the players they got, I don't think he's going to have the ball
that much
to shoot like 80% of the time he's being a shooter. I think they could distribute that equally.
Now, do you think that makes him more of a threat?
Yeah, because it gives him more energy to do what he needs to do. You pick his spots, and the team, and you got now, you got 2 shooters outside. So at the same time, you know, it's going to open up everything for everybody. But it's all how you capitalize on the mismatch, and that's what they got to learn how to do.
All right, my man. Listen, man, I want to thank you for coming on Nicovelli TV, man.
It's my pleasure and honor, my brother.
You know, for a second.
Continue the great work you're doing.
I appreciate you, brother. Peace.